right, questions for
That's
Coach?
our quarterback. That's our quarterback.
All right, Sarah Davis, go ahead.
Wednesday practice went well. It was good to be back around. Obviously, you guys in the Memphis area know how wonderful the weather's been. It's beautiful out there. So the guys came out with the right mindset. We feel like we're getting close to I don't think we'll ever be full strength this year, but getting close to where we need to be from a COVID standpoint. Keep our fingers crossed, as you guys well know. We test again today, so many sleepless nights, right? Keeping those fingers crossed as we await those answers. But we're trying to do things the right way. I'm pleased with the effort our guys are putting in. We know we have a wonderful opponent in SMU. They're 3-0. It's going to be great to be on national stage again on ESPN2 Saturday, and we're getting closer and closer.
Sarah Davis.
Hey, Coach. Coach Mack came out with a lot of energy. Brady got a lot of energy. Is it safe to say that this team has a lot of energy going into this week?
Well, you're the swag coordinator, so I expect you to bring a lot of the energy. But yeah, no, I do think look, we line up every week and we go to practice every week, regardless of who our opponent is, as Brady had mentioned, right? And hopefully we have a sense of urgency. And this has been a little bit different. I mean, let's not hide it. This past month has been quite different. And we feel like we're getting closer. And I told the guys, I hope you have the same feelings you had leading up to the Arkansas State game, some excitement, some butterflies, because it feels like that's where we're back again. And I think our guys are just ready to get out there and play. It's kind of like a lot of those things. You get pent up frustration, you're ready to roll, excitement, mixed emotions of feelings with everything that's occurring. But yeah, there's some darn excitement out there.
Evan Barnes.
Ryan, for you guys going into this week, you mentioned the excitement level at practice being higher. You guys said you were treating this almost like a season opener. Do you sense the excitement is similar to that first week where you guys are, because of the layoff, it's finally here, you guys can finally taste that football is in the air a little bit?
I think you're right, Evan. I think it's a very similar feeling, right? We had a shortened training camp, shortened off season, if you will. So everything felt different leading up to that game, and everything's feeling different leading up to this game because of the circumstances. So it has been different. And, I think generally, right, when you get most of your guys back, they're happy to be around each other. That's just part of college football. They look out there, instead of seeing a depleted roster, they're able to start seeing more of their friends and family and brothers out there on the field with them. So I think that adds to it. But it certainly has felt like this is like we're preparing for a game one again.
Mark Giannotto.
Yeah, Ryan, kind of going off that, have you considered when you actually get to Dallas, it's 2:30, the ball is kicked off, like what that's going to feel like given everything you guys have been through the last 3-4 weeks?
Kind of like I stated after that Arkansas. I believe Jeff Calkins had asked, like, when did you actually feel like you were going to play? And it was like, once we got on that bus and head to the stadium, it was like, you take that big sigh of relief. Okay, we got to this point. Every week, and I hate to say this, it's just to line up and be able to kick that ball off, Mark, as an accomplishment. I mean, without sounding funny, whether accomplishment or just a goal that you're trying to achieve, right? To be able to line up and play. We're seeing, again, there's things that are occurring all over that make it harder and harder for us. You look at even like the team like the Titans that are in a bubble, right? I mean, they're keeping their fingers crossed, hoping that they get that play that game versus Pittsburgh, whenever that may be. It's a Sunday, a Monday, or Tuesday. It's just you got to kind of deal with it and go with the flow. But yeah, there'll be when that ball's kicked off 2:35 on Saturday. Take a deep sigh. Okay, here we go, and then it gets. But like I always say, once that ball's kicked off, we kind of get lost in our zone, and it's like, okay, and as a head coach, with having to deal with everything else that's occurring within our program, within our university, within our city, now I kind of get to close my mind and just focus on what's occurring in between those white lines. And I know our players are going to be excited, but gosh darn, I certainly will be as well.
And then, this is obviously the first conference game during this is now your 5th season in the league. What have you learned about the AAC? Obviously you can't win a conference title this week, but what have you learned about the AAC that or what do you think the program's learned about navigating conference play in the AAC?
Well, I think we've learned, and being now that my 5th year here, you've realized that there's teams that are every week going to present different challenges, right? We saw that Tulsa's record may not have been, and I mentioned this in the past because I think it's important, right? Like Tulsa's record may not have been what it was last year, but man, they gave us everything and we wanted more. They hit us in the mouth for four quarters and then some. And I mean, you look what they did to UCF, and right. And anytime you have 5 teams that have 10 wins or more in a conference, like every week is going to be a battle. And I don't just say that to say, oh yeah, this coach speak, it's a hard conference and we could go toe to toe with it. I mean, it really is. And so we know that every time we line up, it's going to be a darn battle. It really is. And, you see teams progress. Was SMU as good as they are now when I first got into this conference? Heck no. I mean, Tulane is a team that we've seen gradually taking those steps to get to where they want. I mean, no one sits there and says, man, teams in this conference are digressing. No, nobody says. I mean, people are putting, the talk of these other teams in our conference, UCF and Cincinnati, national title contenders. I mean, it's all those things. Those are great things. And, we want to throw ourselves right in the mix and let's roll.
All right, Ryan. So, you talked about Shane Bichelle being a surgeon, but obviously SMU looks very balanced on offense. Their running back is currently the nation's leading rusher. So do you guys, as balanced as you guys are on offense, does it make it easier preparing for a team that's similarly as balanced as SMU looks to be?
Well, I think that's one of the things is they do have very similar scheme to us. Offensively, is it exact? No offense is the exact same, but there are similarities, right? So when we line up and we go against our defense, and you guys know we like to run the ball, we're a run-first team here at Memphis. It's SMU has a great balance and some great running backs, and so I think ideally, like a lot of these teams that have high passing numbers, they could, right? Head coaches would like to run the ball first to set up the passing game. And so I do think, Evan, to be able to set that up and that balance that we're able to give to our defense will help them being prepared for it. But like I said, they've got weapons all along. I mean, we know the quarterback is the real deal. And then, like you said, with their running back leading the country in rushing, I mean, our defense is going to get it, for 4 quarters, and we got to be ready. We know, like I said, they're going to make some plays. They're too good of an offense not to make some plays. It's how do we ride that wave, the ups and downs? And it's going to be a full quarter game, just like last year. And we don't want to talk about years past, but I think every game, I think we're seeing it through college football. Some of these, week in, week out, it's different, but you're seeing some of these are going to full quarter games, and they're all battles.
Steven?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Got you, Steve.
Yes, sorry about that. And I apologize if this question's already been asked, but we've been talking about this pass rush a little bit. Once again, that kind of stops in the country. What are some things the offensive line is going to have to do to kind of prepare for an aggressive front seven like that?
Yeah, I mean, not only do you watch their film the last 3 games this year, and it doesn't look much different than last year. They get after it. They get after the quarterback. They're going to move. They're going to blitz. Like I said, I believe in. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I believe they led the country in sacks last year, and it's looking like they're trending that way. Obviously, hopefully we can put a stop to that at least for a week, because they get after the quarterback. It's going to challenge our offensive line, right? We got to prepare. We're doing a lot more blitz pickup at practice than we normally would against a team like Arkansas State that may not have blitzed as much. So we're trying to prepare for that, just knowing that they're going to do a variety of different things to us. I'm sure they're going to have some surprises for us. And they're going to test our offensive line. Nice thing is I know our guys are preparing the right way for it, and we expect it to come.
Brian Moss?
Hey, Coach, both you and SMU are pretty good at third down conversions. I think you're 15th in the country. They're 16th. Is that one of the key factors for this matchup for you, obviously, to gain the third down conversion and stopping them on third down?
Well, I think, let's speak about them right now. Like, they're a team that is so efficient on offense. If we can get them off the field in third downs, right? And, like I said, I know they're going to make some plays in the first and second down, but if we can get them off the field on third down stuff, at least gives us the opportunity to continue to play, get the ball back in our offense's hand. And like I said, I feel pretty comfortable with our special teams. And then for us offensively, it's the same way. And I know, Evan, you asked a question about how explosive we are as an offense. Well, look, if we can get 5 yards in that cloud of dust the rest of the game, I'll take it, right? If it's first and 10, keeping ourselves, and then if we're getting some third and short stuff, if it's 3rd and 2, that's okay, because that's manageable situation. I don't want, like Steven just asked, I don't want to sit back at 3rd and 12 and let them just pin their ears back and get after our quarterback. So we'll try to get to 3rd manageable situation so we can play ball and not necessarily, own the football. We're not sitting there running triple option Navy offense and trying to keep the ball for 50 minutes of the game, but we've got to be smart with it. And I think that 3rd down stuff is important. I think, I'm not a huge into stats, but we look at the 3rd down conversion rate. Obviously, most teams that have a winning record and that do well are able to convert on 3rd downs.
Evan Barnes.
Last thing for me, Ryan, health-wise, we know Cam Fleming, you said he'll be out for a while. You said you'll be down some significant guys health-wise. How are you guys looking heading into this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything new or substantial that we talked about. Again, from a physical injury standpoint, Evan, nothing that, we've had some time to heal up. We still got some guys that were banged up last game. They're still dealing with some stuff. And then obviously we're going to keep our fingers crossed with this latest COVID test.
Any last questions for Coach? Oh, Terry Davis, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you got a lot of former Tigers that play in Dallas. Is there any chance you're going to let them come in and talk to them, or because of protocols, you're not going to be able to let them come in?
Yeah, so much of it's based off of protocols, right? They need to protect themselves, right? Not only do we need to protect our bubble, because I think so much, and again, nobody knows this, right? Like the exact science of this, but we know who's been around each other with us and our family here. And look, I'd love to have Don Terry Poe and Tony Pollard be there and come talk to us and hug those guys. But reality of it is it's going to be hard. In the past, we've used to have former Tigers come talk to us. We just got to be smart. And again, I don't know their schedule, who they play, if it's home or away, and what their deal is. And then they need to be smart as well, right? Because they'll have a game this weekend, I assume, and they're probably trying to protect themselves. I don't know if them being around, let's say if our travel squad, including, all the people come with us, 120 people, I don't know if it does them as much, come see us. And hopefully they'll be cheering loud on their televisions on Saturday.
Any last questions for Coach?
All right, thanks, guys. Y'all have a great day.